The Weavers are one of the most mysterious groups in all of Hollow Knight. Although that's not saying much, because we know next to nothing about pretty much everything in this game. However, the Weavers are a special case because they have influence over the events of Hollow Knight, and as far as we can tell from the trailers, Silksong as well. Before we head into any speculative territory, I believe it's important to take a look at the timeline of the Weavers to make sure we know where they come from, what they're doing, why did they leave, and what role are they going to play in the upcoming Super Mario All-Stars. The Weavers arrive in Hallownest from their home kingdom. This might be Farloom, but we don't know for sure. They must have arrived a while before the first outbreak of the infection, as they had enough time to make a village, a hidden den, and also have lots of Weaver babies that at least grew up for a small while. After the infection first broke out in Hallownest, I think the Weavers stayed. My reasoning for this is their involvement in the sealing of the Hollow Knight. In the Weaver's den, there is a seal of binding that can be found. It appears to have been woven out of silk. Although they may not have been the ones to place the seal on the Hollow Knight, there is something else that ties them directly to the sealing. This brings me nicely to my next point in the timeline. In exchange for Hera becoming a dreamer, the Pale King gave her his... how should I put this? Pale bone, yeah. He gave her his pale bone, and as a result, Hornet was born. It is unclear whether Hornet was meant to be born, but she was. Bet she feels great about that. Your next line is, but Purple Toaster, what does Hera have to do with the Weavers? Well, a lot, actually. She isn't a Weaver, as she looks nothing like the Weavers we see littered around the Weaver's den. More on that later in the video. Although, her mask does look like a Weaver's face, and it might not be a mask. But she is the Queen of Deepnest. And tell me, dear viewer, where do the Weavers reside? That's right, Deepnest, thus making Hera the Weaver's Queen. I do think Hornet is related to the Weavers in some way. What that way is, I don't know, but like, she can weave silk, so that's a pretty strong connection. I will go more in depth on this later in the video. That's not all you're gonna get. I promise I'm not that useless. I don't think the Pale King's dalliance is the only thing Hera was given for being a dreamer. By dream nailing the dead Weavers in the Weaver's den, we get the words Hera, Princess, Protection, from a bargain made. Now, after lots of experiments and tests, I have come to the scientific conclusion that the so-called Hera in this dialogue is in fact Hera, the Queen of Deepnest. I know, truly a wonder of modern science. The princess is obviously Hornet. Oh, I've only just realised this. That Hornet is actually the princess of Hallownest and Deepnest. How cringe. The last two lines back up my point that Hera didn't just bargain for a nice night of lovemaking, she also asked for the protection of Deepnest, although the Pale King could have also offered the Weavers protection after they placed a seal of binding on the Hollow Knight. After the Hollow Knight failed at its one purpose in life, the infection... wait, no, the Hollow Knight's dead. After the Hollow Knight failed at its one purpose in death, the infection started rapidly spreading through Hallownest, somehow reaching Deepnest. As we can see from the Weaver Youngling enemy, the Weaver Younglings became infected, and as a result, the adult Weavers left Hallownest, presumably travelling to their homeland, which might be Farloom, but hell if I know. It is important to take note that at least one Weaver stayed behind before leaving, so we can see them in the Weaver's den. And not going into any speculative territory too much, that's pretty much sums up the timeline of the Weavers. Now, on with the rest of the video. Now, it is relatively easy to tell that Weavers use silk. My proof being that in the den, there are silk spools just lying about. There's also some in the Stagway. I'm assuming they come from the Weavers because they have a very similar design. Now, I would say silk is what Weavers use to harness soul. This might sound weird, but hear me out. When Hornet uses her bind ability to gain back her 3 masks of health, she uses an entire spool of silk and gains 3 masks. Now, I'm probably looking way too much into this, so take my words with a slight pinch of salt. When our knight heals in Hollow Knight, and the masks come back, the mask releases white particles, or more likely, soul particles, as you use soul to heal. Now, in the Silksong trailers and demos when Hornet uses her bind ability, the same white particles are exuded from the masks. I am aware that Team Cherry could have just done this to make the healing animation look cool, but I do have some more evidence on how Silk is used as a substitute or to harness soul by the Weavers. Midwife's dialogue when Weaver Song is equipped gives us the line, "Amazing things the Weavers crafted once on their looms, stories, shields, spells, so much of our history was spun upon their spools. Your little friends are a testament to their talent." Spells use soul. I would consider focusing a type of spell as it uses soul and gives off soul particles. This furthers the connection between the Weavers and Hornet and Hera. It also strengthens my point of Silk and soul connections, as spells and focusing have a strong connection to soul. Something the Weavers are well known for are their seals of binding, but there is only one seal that we can tell is 100% Weaver seal. That sounds like a product. And that's the seal in the Weaver's den that was woven by the Weavers. Crazy, I know. I do think that the Weavers had something to do with the Hollow Knight sealing, or alternatively, the Path of Pain. The seal in the Weaver's den is extremely similar to the seal at the beginning of the Path of Pain. Could the Weavers have done this? Is this what they bargained for protection? Well, I don't know! To oversimplify, there is just not enough information. Did the Weavers do this? Why is the silk in the hidden stagway? Did the Weavers make houses in a distant village? Was silk parchment used in City of Tears that was destroyed from the Weavers by the Weavers? What's going on? Why are they doing? Why, Team Cherry? Why? How are we supposed to figure out when there's practically nothing to go on? Please, I beg of you, Team Cherry, just give me an answer, please! Now, with my daily crisis out the way, let's talk more about Hornet and Hera. Oh god, this is recording. Now, Hornet and Hera are honestly anomalies. We know that Hornet has to be part spider, but at the same time, Hera doesn't look like any spider I know. This could just be because she's floating upwards, and if she was not floating upwards, she could use her 8 legs. This also brings into question the relationship between the spiders from Deep Nest and the Weavers. Could it be that all spiders in the world of Hollow Knight share similar characteristics? This would explain why Hornet can use Silk the way she does without being able to use spells. However, there is another explanation for why she can't use spells, because she hasn't been shown how to use them. This brings into focus, focusing. If Hornet isn't a Weaver, how can she focus or use soul at all? Well, dear viewer, the answer is what it has always been. The Pale King. I swear, this bug thing, it haunts my dreams, man. He's always there. He's like,
"It was me all along, Anakin. I was the Sith Lord of the Sith. I was the guy who threw my children into the abyss. Anakin, please. The Jedi are taking over."
That's bad for my voice. However, the Pure Vessel and our Knight can focus, and they are also related to the Pale King, just like Hornet. However, there is a big difference between the Vessels and Hornet. Hornet is not the White Lady's daughter, and the White Lady could not have been the one to pass down the ability to use soul to Hornet because they aren't related. If this is the case, then there is another reason why Hornet could be able to use soul, that being the Weavers taught her. This would back up my theory of all the spiders in the world of Hollow Knight sharing similar characteristics. If this theory were to be true, then I guess Weavers are kind of like the snail shamans of the spiders. I don't really know. Next section it is! From the trailers, specifically this scene, we can see that the Weavers will definitely be in Farloom. But I guess that's a given, so yeah. But what role will they play in Silksong? Well, I made a comparison to the snail shamans earlier as a joke. But if I'm being honest, I don't think it was too far off. I think in this scene, Hornet is gaining a new ability. Watch a comparison of the two. This is complete speculation on my part. Feel free to comment what you think is going on in the comments. Because that's what the comments are for. That's what the comments are for! Now, you didn't hear this from me, but I'm pretty sure Weavers will play a big role in Silksong, considering their faces are plastered everywhere around the Kingdom of Farloom. In my humblest of British opinions, this is clearly a propaganda attempt to brainwash the struggling populace of Falun, just like in George Orwell's groundbreaking novel 1984, in which a lone working man struggles to fit into an oppressive society until he meets a fine young lady, and they strive to break the government and free the populace.
And I'm gonna go and read the book, and I read the book, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about how book is related to game, even though they have no actual correlation with story. Get on with the video, man. Just freaking talk about the Weavers, okay? We don't want to hear about stupid 11th grade book we had to read, or 12th grade, whatever. I don't care. I just want to watch your video about the Weavers, because I don't know anything about the Weavers. I'm absolutely clueless. I don't care about George Orwell, though. He has nothing to do with this, or his book, or any of his books, or really any books for that matter. What? Are we going to be talking about Sun Tzu's Art of War now? Like, ah!
Right, I'm sorry, Cece. I just have a deep appreciation for classic literature that shaped today's modern society. I mean, if it wasn't for 1984, would Hollow Knight even be a thing? I'd know, you'd know, maybe Team Cherry were inspired by it, you know? Like, come on, Matt, why you gotta be this way about George Orwell? He's probably dead. I don't know if he's dead, he might be dead, but it's so good I haven't actually read it, but shut up. It's not fair. Leave George Orwell alone, man.
Did you not hear me the first time? I said stop with the stupid book analogies and just talk about Hollow Knight and Silksong for once in your life.
I already said this earlier in the video, but Hornet isn't a Weaver, and I also said I would elaborate on this point, and I shall. Even though Hornet doesn't look like a Weaver, she doesn't look like she's made of void either. Damn. That don't sound half bad. Maybe I should stop making lore videos and start a Hollow Knight rap battle channel. Anyway, although there is evidence stacked against Hornet being a Weaver, people will continue to believe this horrendous false truth. Jeez, why is it always Hornet that gets into these controversies? Just give her a break, guys, alright? That being said, I'm going to feed into the controversy. Hornet is the child of Hera and the Pale King. Now, I'm pretty sure the Pale King isn't a Weaver, but some twisted minds believe that Hera is, therefore making Hornet half Weaver. This is just wrong. Although Hera's mask has the Weaver's face on it, Hera can't be a Weaver. She doesn't look like a Weaver. A Weaver's head is very circular, whereas Hera's head is very uncircular. One can't even make the argument that Hera is a higher being-esque Weaver thing, because she's confirmed a common bug by Midwife, and Hornet referring to her as Beast, not something like Higher Queen, or something along those lines. Now, to explain why Hornet can use techniques that may have been created by the Weavers, like the Soul Silk connection, I refer back to my earlier theory that spiders share similar characteristics all across the world of Hollow Knight. And if that's not the case, I'm sure it can explain by these three words. Pale King Offspring. Yep, I pulled out that card. What are you going to do about it? We don't know the Pale King's full power, so I wouldn't be surprised if Hornet's abilities were explained as Pale King lol. And that about wraps up the video. I hope I've managed to shed some new light on this mysterious species to you, and maybe even help you come to your own conclusions. This video took a while to make. The script alone took 3 weeks to write. I've never worked so hard on a video before, and I just want to say a huge thank you to CC Mackay for helping me with this video. He helped me read the script. He even made a small cameo. He's a really great guy, and I recommend you watch some of his videos. He made an excellent 50-minute video on Vessel Cloaks. His skits are low-key hilarious. And yeah, I think I might make another video where I just play some TF2 like I'm doing now and talk for a bit, because honestly, YouTube and school, it's all been pretty hard. I've only been able to work on weekends and the occasional Monday. It's you know, I guess I just want to be real with you guys for a bit, so that will be out next week. That being said, have a good day, and please do remember, it's all some made up BS.